Hey, it's James Zed, and I'm feeling conflicted. I feel like I don't think conflicted is an emotion, but if there was a way that I would have to describe myself feeling like the most, it's conflicted. When there's like a kind of noteworthy emotion or feeling, right? Emotions are nuanced, they're hard, they're difficult, and I often find that I feel, you know, not just overtly whatever, angry, sad, happy, whatever, blase. I feel like overtly, or not overtly, anything. I feel multiple different, you know, emotions or feelings, like it's nuanced, right? So, what I'm feeling, I don't actually think I'm feeling conflicted. I think historically I would be feeling conflicted, and right now, maybe I'm not. I don't know. So, things that I would feel conflicted about historically, I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit with my commitment to run every day. That's not strictly true. I got an Achilles injury, and this is now week 2. Honestly, it started bugging me again, and I really haven't been doing much. So, it's just felt a little tender, and I think that's. I've been reading a book about sort of going with your gut, intuition, that sort of thing, and I think that what my gut tells me is that I need more time to rest, and that if I get right back to running, even if I take it slow, that I'm going to be nursing this injury for forever. I hate that shit. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to. I'm going to continue resting. And in fact, I was doing yoga last week. That was surprisingly hard. But I don't think I'm even going to do that. I'm kind of taking the week off. And I like, there's some part of me that wants to feel like that is like, I've made these commitments to myself where I'm going to get better by kind of showing up persistently, right? Like just consistently every day, every week, week after week, month after month, etc. And I feel like I'm kind of letting myself down, but I think that I also have to be realistic, and like there's a rational part of me that is like, hey, like you're injured. Like I was legitimately struggling to walk. My Achilles tendon was visibly fat, like it was obvious which one was difficult or having difficulty. And some of the time you just gotta take it easy. So I think in the past I wouldn't even feel conflicted. I would feel disappointed with myself. And then that sort of rationalization about, oh, you're injured, whatever, would take me from feeling disappointed to conflicted. And now I feel like not that. I feel at ease with this. It's not my preferred outcome, but it's the outcome that I have. And I don't think it's actually, a major setback in the context of running every day or whatever. Like, okay, so take a couple weeks off, maybe it's 3 weeks, maybe it's 4, maybe it's more than that, I don't know. But my challenge historically has been that 1 or 2 days off or a week off or whatever then snowballs into a month off, and then it's 6 months off. So I'm cognizant of that and have to be aware of avoiding that outcome, right? That's going to be the kind of important piece for me here. And I think what that looks like for me is being mindful about it, resting, this week because my Achilles is kind of on fire, and then easing back into light activity and, kind of doing yoga or whatnot in lieu of running. That really felt good. It felt challenging. It felt like what I needed. And it kind of segues into my other. I'm tempted to feel conflicted, but maybe I don't, which is about doing the splits. I made a commitment to my daughter that I'm going to work on the splits. And I haven't been working on that consistently because within just a couple of days of that commitment, my Achilles started bugging me. And I found that most of the kind of hip and lower body related stretches pissed it off, right? So I really haven't been able to come through on that. But my intention is still there. I am going to work on that. And, it's just postponed. And I think that minor injuries are the reality of getting older. I'm not like old per se, but this is something I've seen my mother struggle with. She's in her 60s now, and she started, like, she was an extreme athlete in her 30s. She did like triathlons, did Ironman, was a marathon runner, did Boston, all the kind of big name stuff, especially 30 years ago. There wasn't many more things to list at the time. It's a little bit different now. There's tons of events everywhere, right? So yeah, anyways, something I've watched her struggle with is her body slowly failing her. And my heater's coming on, and I'm just going to leave it and hope that doesn't fucking ruin the audio. Nah, I'm okay if this is crappy. Am I okay if it's totally ruined? Because it might be. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. Whatever. So anyways, I've watched my mom struggle with this, and I've often reflected on her difficulty coming to terms with her body letting her down. And I think when I reflect on that, I can see where injuries started to creep in, in her late 30s and 40s in a much more major way. When you're 20 and you get injured, you're like back next week. When you're 30, it's 2 weeks. When you're 40, it's 3 weeks. And when you're 50, it's your season, So I feel like I'm somewhere in that picture where this is starting to... I didn't do anything crazy. The golden rule for running is your long run, you don't add more than 1 kilometer a week. I was adding like 300 to 500 meters every week. Like, I was very conservatively starting to run. So, I'm somewhere there on injuries are coming easily or more easily. And I feel okay about it. I watched my mom struggle. Her struggle is largely born out of stubbornness, right? I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to just be like, oh my god, I'm old, I'm falling apart, I can't do it. Right? I'm just going to acknowledge when I need rest or support or whatever, and kind of try and be reasonable about it. One thing that I'm definitely not feeling conflicted about is, maybe I actually am. This is the only one where there is some conflict. That's the expressing gratitude. So I printed off, I don't know, 150 little things here. They're like, a little slip of paper like you'd find in like a fortune cookie. And they have little prompts, gratitude prompts on them. And I printed those off, and I started answering one a day on video and just posting them to YouTube Shorts. And I'm doing that for me. I'm not, just like this, I'm not really expecting an audience here. It's sort of weird. My brain keeps having intrusive thoughts about how I can make my videos better. And my goal is to not do that explicitly. But anyways, the gratitude thing was an experiment in order to have a gratitude practice, start expressing gratitude more regularly, and see how that works. So, things I don't feel great about, it was Thanksgiving this weekend, it was, kind of a little difficult to keep to my diet and my schedule. I didn't miss a day or anything, but I'm recording this and it's 11 at night. Normally I would do this video like 12 hours ago, I kind of flip-flopped my schedule around a little bit. And I'm a little disappointed in myself because of that, but whatever. But as far as the gratitude practice goes, I have been expressing gratitude on video every day. Some of the prompts have been lame. A couple days I didn't need prompts. It was Thanksgiving this weekend. It was obvious to me what I was thankful for and what I felt grateful for and that sort of thing. But I will say, having a moment of like just a brief moment of like pause where I reflect on things I'm thankful for, and often reflect on things that I, if I just sat here, like this is my struggle with the gratitude practice. If I just sat here and thought to myself, oh, what am I thankful? What was one nice thing today? Or something like that. I'm going to think of my kids, my family, my wife, having a house, whatever. The same sort of very domestic, close to me, set of concepts. It's like how 80-20 rule, right? It's kind of like you wear, 20% of your clothes 80% of the time kind of thing. It's that sort of thing. There's like comfortable, close to home topics that I'm going to always pick. And the prompting kind of pushed me around a little bit. I didn't get any crazy prompts that made me think of something wild. I'm sure there's some in there. But it was just enough that it felt like I really had to kind of sit with it and think. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to make these YouTube shorts. I'm going to open one of these things up. I'm going to read it. I'm going to speak some words and I'm done. That's going to take 30 seconds. And the shorts are like a minute and a half, and that's with me cutting, like, me digging in here and pulling this thing out and reading it and whatever, right? So all that is to say, I end up sitting here and being thoughtful for a couple of minutes, reflecting on something that isn't what I would otherwise reflect on, and I've really deeply enjoyed that. Has it paid dividends beyond just feeling good for, the 2 minutes of stillness? I'm not sure. What I do know is I'm going to continue my gratitude practice until this jar is empty. That's a lot. Every day. What I don't know is if I'm going to continue videoing it. I like the idea of videotaping it as like a challenge. I don't love the overhead, right? If I just pull one of these out, use it as an opportunity to pause for 2 minutes and express gratitude or focus on it or what have you, fine. But actually shooting the video, it ends up taking me 15 minutes or 20 minutes to do this thing. And it's not that it's not worth it or whatever, but I'm noticing this, like, the fundamental challenge that I have upcoming with choosing small things and being consistent with them is that I can't add 1,500 things to my day. Every week I can't pick something new that's going to take 20 minutes, right? If I do that, then other things are going to have to fall off, right? So, overall, I do feel conflicted about this one. The one that I'm the most explicitly kind of happy about, I really am proud of myself and pleased that I have a gratitude practice that's working for me. It's been enjoyable. I'm not sure I want to continue doing it on video long term. I don't know. So I'm going to play with that one. I'm going to see. But I did decide that I'm going to continue doing these videos every week for a year as a challenge to myself. I turned on a light, a studio light. It is set up in the worst. It's like the bare bulb. I'm sure my head is just glimmering and bright. My shorts that I've been posting, you could hardly fucking see me, basically. So, anyways, I am going to make these incrementally better. And I think, as far as the gratitude videos go, I'd like to continue doing those on video. And I want to thread the needle here, where I want to put some downward pressure on how long it takes me to do them. But without, basically I want to make them incrementally less shitty, but mostly from a process perspective. If I could knock that out in 5 minutes, like I have to shoot this video, I have to pull the video off the card, I have to sync up the video and the audio. The camera that I'm using, I use at least once a week elsewhere, so I have to set it back up again and all this sorts of shit. It's kind of it's just enough of a pain in the ass, right? That I feel some pressure to stop. So I want to eliminate that pressure. Maybe that means I just have to have just use my webcam or something, or do some other thing to. I'm kind of using the equipment I have, which was set up where it was set up. Like literally just rotated the camera and turned it on. The first one I did, I got my fan bike there. In the first video, you can see the handle of it into the frame because I had rested the fucking camera on the seat of the bike in order to take that first video. Anyways, I'm babbling now. It's because it's late. But I'd like to just work on simplifying that. And using that, I think, as sort of a litmus test for a template for small tasks that I'm committing to long term, consistently. What happens if I don't want to continue? Do I just stop doing it? Is there some sort of do I feel badly about that? Am I letting myself down? Am I it's sort of I've been thinking about it like books. I take a lot of books out from the library, more than I read. I want to actually get better at that. That's one of the things I want to do. I want to consistently read a book cover to cover every week. I tend to read 5 books a third of the way, whatever. Anyhow, one of the reasons why my reading habits are like that is because I'm not scared to fire a book. I will read a book. If I've read the first 40, 50, 60 pages and it isn't for me, I'll just stop reading it, return it to the library. I'm done here. I want to figure out a way to do that habitually as well. If the gratitude practice doesn't sit right with me, it takes too long, I'm not reaping benefits, it's not enjoyable, I want to exit that. I want to stop doing it without guilt of, oh, well, I really sort of, let myself down or something like that. So something that I expressed to my sister recently that I want to get better at is being curious. And I think that that's kind of the key here. I want to treat this as a series of experiments where I'm going to try a bunch of small habits that are easy to implement. Because of the ease of execution, I'm going to consistently do them for a short window of time. I'm not sure what a reasonable amount is. That'll come later. And then if it's not working, I'm going to let it go and I'm going to replace it with something else. I'll return the habit from whence it came and put another habit in its place. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. And gratitude is definitely in the ballpark there, where it might just be a gratitude habit, not a videoed habit. But I have been reaping big rewards. I've really thoroughly enjoyed that. So I am going to continue, and I'm going to continue on video until this is done. And we'll see where that ends up. And I'm going to continue doing this weekly video rambly series. I'm going to switch back to the mornings so that I feel like this one's particularly meandering. This is how I think. I think by talking. But I feel like this one's particularly rough. So I'm going to continue doing this once a week for a year. Gratitude practice until that jar is empty once a day on video. And we'll see how everything else kind of lines up. And I'm not going to be too hard on myself if I need to drop a habit. Really trying to frame that and remind myself that I'm trying to be curious and find not everything's going to work for me, you know? So, anyhow, that's it. I definitely don't need to say more. Oh my God. Wander, wander, wander. Hopefully, we'll check in. Not hopefully, I'm going to do this. Hopefully, you'll come back and I'll chat with you on Tuesday.